Welcome back to the pod. Today we are talking about the seven-figure mindset, which is essentially the mindset that you need in order to build a seven-figure business based on the principles that help me develop my business. And I'm so grateful that you're here. And I'd like to tell you the way that I coach, the way that I teach, the way that I give information is the same way that I learn. Is I give a lesson based on my life and my personal life, what helped me, and then I give the direction for how you can turn that into an actionable in your own life and then start taking action on it. Because we understand here that the more we take action on things that we believe in, the more we are able to achieve in our lives, because we can watch all the content we want, we can watch all the podcasts, everything that we want, and keep scrolling, and it makes you feel productive because that's how our brains work, but nothing really happens unless you take massive amounts of action towards the life that you want. So I'm going to be going over these things in my life, how it can portray to your life, why it's important to you, and what actions you can take. And I'm going to dive right in. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're just going to keep rocking, keep focused, keep your phone away from you unless you're watching this on your phone, and let's just dive in. So number one, I want you to imagine this. I think off of analogies, and I want you to do the same because it allows us to learn faster. So imagine yourself in a boxing ring. Okay, it's just you, you're sweating, you got boxing gloves on. Think of it like business. Your opponent is going to be an old version of yourself. So imagine it's you with the boxing gloves, and your opponent on the other side of the ring is the old you who was lazy, who may have been fat, who may have been negative and always holding you back. Then I want you to think about who's behind you, who's in your corner coaching you. It's going to be the future version of yourself. So imagine the future, whoever it is that you want to be is behind you coaching you, okay? Now here's the million-dollar question. Is the future you helping you knock out the old you and win, or is it also holding you back, letting your ass get kicked left and right, round after round, okay? The point here is that the secret to scaling any business, the secret to winning the fight, isn't just about the strategy or luck. It's about making sure the you in your corner is your greatest coach. So today we're going to dive in about how to make sure that coach in your mind, in your corner, is leading you to winning, is leading you to winning that fight over and over and over again in both business and life. So the objective of this podcast, the objective of you lending me your attention so I can give you some valuable information, is so you can take this, you can take action on it, you can grow your business, and you can grow the other holistic sides of your life, your relationships, your finances, your fitness, your health, all of these different aspects of your life that make your business better. Because we understand that when your fitness gets better, when your health gets better, you start to feel better. When you feel better, your business gets better. Why? Logically, because your sales are better. People trust you more. People see you and you're more aesthetically pleasing in your body. And they know that that body that you have, it took hard work, so they respect you more. Little things like that. It all comes together, right? And when your business is better, you have more time. You're able to delegate more in your business and in your life, so you have more time to work out, to work on your relationships. Everything is a back and forth and up and down. If one thing goes up, another thing goes up. But sometimes when something goes down, everything else goes down as well. For example, if you're clubbing every night, which I hope most of you aren't, but you're going to the club every night and sleeping late and waking up late, your spirituality is going to go down because you're all of a sudden you're not giving yourself the time to meditate, or not giving yourself the time to sleep, to really hone in on your mindset. And what happens there is that the business is going to inevitably start to go down because your decision making is going to go down. And because of that, your finances are going to go down. Because of that, everything else is going to go down. When I realized that, that changed my entire life because it made me make decisions better. And I just wanted to start with that so we can start with some heat, with some mental mindset, mentality heat. So you know that the rest of this podcast is going to just give you straight game, straight actionables. Okay? Who is this podcast for? Who is my brand for? Who is Leo Valentino for? It's anyone who is looking to become their best selves and to grow their lives and their business. That's whether you're 18, whether you're 25, whether you're 47, 72, I don't care. If you're looking to become your best self, grow your business and grow your life, you are for me, and this information is going to be extremely, extremely valuable for you. And as you take action on it, your life will change. I promise you that your life will change. And you can come back to me and say, Leo, you promised me and it worked, or it didn't. But I know that this stuff is going to make you a better person. It's going to build your business. You're going to make a lot more money with me. And just listening to this information right here is going to get you to that next level. Okay. So why is this topic important? Why is it important to me? It's because this mentality that I have built over reading books, over from taking action, from working out, from doing all the things that I'm about to show you in a process, it's what has given me the ability to be where I am today, in a state where my business hits 7 figures every single year. I have multiple businesses, some that I'm leading up to multiple 7, 8 figures, and ones that I am looking to sell potentially in the future. I'm buying real estate, and I'm in a place where that stuff isn't the most important thing to me. The most important thing is to my health, my fitness, my relationships, the partnerships that I have, and essentially I have prioritized self-development in my life in such a matter where my businesses develop directly from how I develop as a person. And that's a universal law that I hope works for you as well. My belief is that it's universal, so it will. However, I get to wake up every morning on my own time. I haven't worked for anybody for the past 4 years. I've been able to take what I make from the business, reinvest it back into the business, or reinvest it into things that excite me. I'm able to now have time for my family, for health, for relationships, for things that really are important to me. Everything that I dreamed of having, I now am able to, one, see in my life, but also I have a clear path to getting some of the other things that I have dreamed of doing. For example, feeding millions of kids every single year. That has been such a big dream of mine. And recently, we just spent $15,000 of our business money to be able to feed a lot of children and build up a charity event to be able to do that. And that was such a big dream for me. And essentially, what I'm teaching you with this mindset isn't going to give you all of that, but it's going to give you the ability to create the objective that you want and get close to it, step by step by step by step by step. And that right there is the difference from feeling lost and feeling like you don't know where you're going to feeling like you're on the exact path that you are meant to go. So every day you wake up and you do your morning routine and you're on the exact path that you know you're supposed to be on. And I promise you that is a different feeling. It is a feeling of surety. It's a feeling of confidence. It's a feeling of knowing who you are and also knowing who you're becoming. Because knowing who you're becoming is so, so important because you can borrow that confidence from who it is that you want to be. Now that's a big topic right there that I want to cover later on, but I'll excerpt it here. I'll throw some game in here, but you can take that confidence, that thought patterns, and the way that you speak from the person that you're going to be in 24 months. Because if you think about it, that person is just speaking in a different way. That person is just breathing in a certain way, working out in a certain way. And then he or she also has the manifestations of different houses, different investments, a team, all these things that you might not have right now. However, the way that they're acting towards that team is something that you can borrow right now. And the sooner you start to realize that, the sooner you start to become that person, the sooner things will quote unquote manifest into your life. And the word manifest, of course, just means thinking that you deserve it, thinking about what it is that you want and taking action towards it consistently every day. And all of a sudden, quote unquote, it manifests into your life. And then you add into the spiritual realm of the more which you are who you think about, right? You become the thoughts that you are. If you think you're not, if you think you're not attractive, if you think you're fat, if you think you're all these things, you will become that because your decisions will be based on who you think you are. When it comes to eating sweets, you will choose the sweets every time because you are a quote unquote fat person. You are a quote unquote unhealthy person. And those are the decisions that you make. But if you start believing and telling yourself that you're a very healthy person, a very successful person, then the decisions that you make will be based off of that. I don't want to go too far off topic because we haven't even gotten to the first segment, but I just like to give massive amounts of game early. And it just comes out as I'm speaking. So segment number one, building a relationship with yourself. So what does this mean? What does building a relationship with yourself mean in the context of entrepreneurship? So a lot of you are building different businesses. A lot of you are doing different side hustles. Maybe some of you are working at a job. Maybe some of you are in school looking to start entrepreneurship. Whatever it is, you're always going to be in a fight with yourself or in a partnership with yourself. It always depends on what it is. Even someone who's done it for such a long time with myself, who's understood this, I still get in fights with myself because there's some days where things are happening left and right. Boom, you're getting punch, 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 and you still got to fight yourself to make sure you keep going and you keep the process moving. You trust the process because your mind will start telling yourself, this isn't the way to go. You just got to take a day off. You just got to sit and cry it out. Sometimes your mind will say those things, and I understand the process of self-care and taking time off, absolutely. But if you know you have a project to finish and your mind is telling you to not finish the project, those are things that are going to come up in the fight. And you have to be able to say, no, I'm going to keep finishing this, and then I'm going to give myself a break, because when I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to feel absolutely proud that I did that. And I'm going to feel better about myself. So the next day, I'm going to have that data set in my life and in my mind that I could keep going. Because really, your mind can keep going and your body can keep pushing. We only push to about 40% of our capabilities. However, our minds will get scared and say, hey, you better watch out. You better not keep going, or else this will happen. But if you can get over that voice in your mind, you really start to win in different variables in your life. So why is this self-relationship thing such a foundation for a strong mindset? Because how you speak to yourself and how you view yourself is going to decide who you are, and it's going to make the decisions for what you do every single day. For example, if you wake up and you start in a very negative mentality, like you wake up and you're like, I don't want to be up this morning, go, and all that negativity brings, or you take that negativity with you into the bathroom. And what's the first thing you see in the bathroom? A big old mirror. So all of a sudden you're very negative and you're brushing your teeth, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you still got that zit here and you still got this, and you're like, oh, and why me? Why is this happening to me? And then you bring all this negativity towards the rest of your day, and then people start coming into your life. Someone gives you a call and you get all mad at them because you got a zit on your face, but really it's just because you're being very negative. And you start to realize that this has happened for the past 3 years. Is you've been extremely negative to yourself. You've been extremely, I mean, you just quite frankly been an asshole to yourself. And guess what? You've been an asshole to everyone else, and no one wants to be around you. Not even you. You don't even want to be around you. And that's what pisses you off, is that you wake up in the same body, in the same mentality, in the same place that you've been for the past 3 years, and nothing is happening, and you're not doing anything to change it because the relationship with yourself sucks. So now that I got that out of the way, how do we understand this now? How do we see this? You're like, Leo, I get it. Okay, harsh, I get it. My relationship with myself isn't that great. Okay, perfect. Number one, self-awareness. You have to become aware of the fact that you're an asshole to yourself. And quite frankly, you might be an asshole to other people. So become self-aware of that. Now you just take a step back. And it might even take an hour to kick in, like, damn, I have called myself these names. I have done this to myself. I haven't given myself a session in the gym. I haven't given myself a break. I've been lazy, all these things. And when you're lazy and you don't go to the gym, you are punishing your body later on. Because imagine you don't go to the gym for weeks on end, and now you're all flabby and you're weak, and no girls want to talk to you, or what, whoever's listening, no one's looking at you in that way, and now you're feeling worse about yourself. So you're punishing yourself if you're not becoming the greatest version, if you're not going to the gym, if you're not eating well. Here's a more logical approach. Every time you eat some McDonald's or some really terrible processed food, you are punishing yourself for later. In the moment, you might think, I am feeling so good, I'm happy. I'm not gonna lie, last week I had a little bit of ice cream and I felt so good in that moment. But I knew I was punishing myself. Just 2 hours later, I felt it all in my stomach. I wasn't working as hard as I could. My brain was foggy. In the moment, I was like, damn, this is good ass ice cream. I know, Leo, I know what I'm doing. But that's because I have self-awareness of what I'm doing. So sometimes I set myself up. If it's Saturday, I'm not working for the next 2 hours here. I'm going to eat some ice cream. Cool, awesome. I'll have a good time. I know the repercussions I'm doing because I'm self-aware. But most people are not self-aware. They don't know what they're putting in their body. They don't know that not going to the gym means this. They don't know the repercussions. So, number one is self-awareness. How do you be self-aware? This is a big thing, guys. This is where the action comes in. The process of self-awareness is one, you're listening to me right now and you're thinking back to yourself, oh, okay, you're right. I am kind of an asshole to myself. And then what do you do then? What's the next step? It's writing down your thoughts because you need to save those thoughts because you need to go back to those thoughts. When you write things down, you remember them and you attach an emotional connection to them to however you're feeling right now, and you can start to study yourself. Okay, Wednesday, I made this decision to eat a bowl of ice cream. Thursday, I felt like crap the whole day. Why? Oh, maybe it's because I ate the bowl of ice cream at 8 p.m. Okay, I'm not going to do that next time I have a bowl of ice cream in front of me, or next time I go to Safeway and I see a bowl of ice or a tub of ice cream. I'm going to say maybe not because I know that the current me is going to eat the whole thing on a Thursday night, and Friday morning when I know I got to go to work, I'm going to feel like shit. So I'm not going to do that. So here's the action step. Every single night for the next 30 days, journal out what your thoughts were. What decisions did you make throughout the day? And I'm going to make it very easy. I'm going to do a level 1 and a level 10. For my level 1 listeners, this is what you'll do. For my level 10 listeners, this is what you do. Level 1. For the next 30 days, just journal out your thoughts. Whatever's going on. You can say, hey, this is my thoughts. This is how I'm feeling right now. I did X, Y, Z today. Next 30 days, just do that. For my level 10 people, you're going to journal every morning and every night. And it's going to have a basis of why you're journaling. Okay? Number one, you're going to note down every action that you took and decision that you made that either benefited you or was against you. And every night you're going to do the same thing and you're going to reflect how those decisions affected you during the day. What that's going to do, it's going to give you a whole book on yourself that you can now read. Oh, I had a shitty day on Sunday. Why? Oh, it's because Saturday I broke abstinence after 5 months, and I had another bowl of ice cream and I slept at 2 a.m. Personal experience. And Sunday morning, all of a sudden, I was very foggy. I didn't have any discipline and motivation. I woke up at 7, all these different things. Now you get to read this book about yourself. Why did this happen? Why did I have a shitty day? Oh, it's because X, Y, Z. Boom. Self-awareness. Now, every time you take an action, you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly why you did it. And before you take that bad action, you say to yourself, should I do this? Because I know this happened to me before. Last week it happened. Am I about to do it again? Yes or no? That's where discipline comes in. We'll talk about that later. Yes or no? No, I'm not going to do it because I know that when I did it last time, this happened. And then boom, what happens when you say no to it? What happens when you say no to the ice cream? Your brain starts to say, good job. This is who you are. You're a very disciplined person. So you journal that down too. How did I feel when I started to build my discipline? Now all of a sudden, a month later, you're making decisions like boom, boom, boom. How does this relate to money? How does this relate to entrepreneurship? The better you are at self-awareness, the more aware you are, and the better you are at making decisions, the better you are at making decisions in the business. How you do anything is how you do everything. When you make a decision not to go see that female at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night, you're now able to also say no to this shiny object that could make you 6 figures, or that could make you 5, 6 figures in the next 3 months. However, it'll take away from the 7-figure opportunity. Same thing, how if I go see that female at 8, 10 p.m. on a Wednesday, I might have a good time and we might, it might be a fun experience, but I won't go to sleep till 2 and I'll wake up the next morning tired and groggy, where that whole Thursday I could have been making money, I could have been making moves, making partnerships, making content, all these things. Instead, I say, okay, hey, let's hang out Saturday at 6, so I can still go home at 9 or 10. You start making decisions a lot smarter that way, and you start to become a very disciplined person. For the men listening here, this is such an important thing because even, for example, the females will see your discipline and see your focus, and they love it. And everyone, your team, the people around you, your family, everyone around you, they love when you are disciplined. They love when you're able to stay focused. They love a self-aware man. That's the biggest thing. Okay? The number one is a self-awareness exercise. Journal every night for the next 30 days. Number two, I'm going to talk about the power of affirmations. This is the next thing and next actionable tip for you. Is positive affirmations. So I have a list that I change every 2 months about powerful affirmations. And I read them aloud to myself, and I close my eyes and I imagine myself living out those affirmations. And 90 days later, I tell you every single time, every one of those affirmations that I've written down are now either true or becoming very apparent in my life. For example, I have these tenets in my life that I go by, about 15 tenets that I wrote down. And essentially, they go like this. I'm gonna read a few of them. And some of you who follow me and who follow other leaders in this space will know where I got some of these tenets from. Okay? Number one, it is my sacred duty to improve upon every aspect of my life and use my word as an unbreakable bond. Number two, I am a magnet for wealth and abundance, and it is my sacred responsibility to manage my life and finances with wisdom, integrity, and foresight. Number three, I believe it is my divine imperative to become as capable, powerful, and competent as I possibly can. Whoever knows where those are from, let me know. So those are some affirmations that I read out every single morning. You could say affirmations like, I am wealthy, I am powerful, I'm this, I'm that. But I've noticed that if you really want to make it work, you have to truly have no resistance against it. Because some of you will say, I am wealthy, and your brain's going to say, no, you're not. And your subconscious is going to be very confused. Your subconscious is it's like the co-captain that listens to whatever you say. So imagine you're the captain of the ship and you tell the co-captain to do this. They're going to do it no matter what. But the co-captain's a little bit incoherent in a way where they'll do whatever you say, even if you say it in a way that's joking. For example, if you say, crash the ship, they say, okay, and they crash the ship. That's the thing about the subconscious mind, is that it doesn't know if you're joking or not. So if you start telling it things like, I am becoming more and more wealthy every single day. Each day and every way I'm getting better. Your subconscious is going to say, okay, I'm going to start helping you make the decisions to do that, to make sure that is true. However, if you say things to yourself without even knowing it, like, oh, why do I look so ugly? Why this, all these things? Your subconscious brain is going to say, okay, he thinks he's ugly. So I'm going to make sure that his decisions are one of an ugly person. I'm going to make sure that ugly things start to happen because I need to match whatever the captain says. Now, if you want to learn more about this, read The Power of the Subconscious Mind and look up, what's his name? Bob Proctor, and read about him, learn about him, and read his stuff because it's incredible, incredible stuff that I can't teach all in this one podcast. I'll do a podcast on it one day. Okay? So what are some common pitfalls when it comes to building this relationship with yourself? And what are some common pitfalls at all? Number one is neglecting self-care. Now, a lot of people ignore the physical and mental well-being of themselves because it's not something that was normally taught upon us. But also, there's people who say, "Oh, you don't need um, self-care. You don't need it. Just work." And I understand the process of, hey, you got to do what you got to do. For example, for the men, as men, you got to just keep it going. You got to make sure to just knock out your tasks. And sometimes if you have emotions, you can let them out to your brothers, but then you just got to keep working. I don't care how you feel, you got to wake up and you got to do the tasks. I believe in that. On the other hand, it doesn't mean you don't take 15-minute breaks in a 90-minute session. It doesn't mean you don't go to the gym. It doesn't mean you stuff yourself with bad food. There comes a time where self-care is so necessary in your daily life, but it doesn't have to be to an extreme. Self-care doesn't mean taking the whole day, going to a spa day, taking a nice bubble bath and getting your feet rubbed. While that's all nice and you can go get a massage for an hour, you still got work to do. So for me, I take 90-minute sessions and I take a 15-minute break. If I have emotions, which I always do, but if I have things going on, I'll go to my brothers. I'll let them know, hey, I'm going through XYZ, and I'll just let them know and see if they can help me. And before all that, I'll go to God and I'll say, God, I'm going through this. I'm struggling. Thank you for life. And I'll always be grateful, because most of the time when I'm just grateful for it, I'm able to sit back and say, okay, life is actually really good and I'm actually in a really good place. I can keep working. I won't go to a female and I say this in a way where I hold myself back from saying things sometimes in my brand, because I'm still learning how to build my brand and saying as authentic things and myself as possible without letting my opinion overpower the teaching. But I'll say it as I say it, and whatever happens, happens. But I won't go to a girl in my life and tell her my problems. I might go to my mom, but I won't go to a girl I'm seeing or that I'm, good friends with. I won't tell her my problems. And what I've realized is that has helped me the most, because as soon as I go to a girl with my problems, they will allow me to just cuddle up and I'll get all soft. And then now every time I have a problem, I go to them. It's okay. And then I start to get really soft and then I start working. So when I go to my brothers, they'll say, Leo, I understand. Let's go to the gym. Let's go. We go to the gym. And it's like he lets me talk a little bit. I talk it through, and he says, okay, what do we need to do to solve it? And then we solve it together. And then I'm much better than I was before that happened. So for my brothers who are listening, go to your brothers when you're going through stuff. And also, I say this because my sister, um, she's taught me this, where hey, don't go to your woman for problems. She doesn't want to hear it. Right? Even if they say, I want to hear it, they don't want to hear it. They want you to be that strong man who's focused, who can provide, who can protect, who can be the solver or the solution to their problem if they come to you with it. That's my opinion. That's my thought on it. Okay. So next common pitfall, number 2, is self-doubt and negative self-talk. So many people are poisoning their success, poisoning their mind with doubt and negative self-talk. Imagine you had this most beautiful garden. The roses got all these beautiful things, and then someone comes with a tractor, rams it all, destroys all your roses, put poison everywhere. That's like doubt coming in your mind, right? Because sometimes I know you'll have a crazy idea. Oh, I'm going to start this. I'm going to start um, this business. It's going to do this. And you go talk to one person, maybe it's someone in your family, and they just plow down your secure and plow down your idea. They play it down all the way to the point where you don't even want to think about it. You don't even want to tell another person this. That is what happens when self-doubt is created. And self-doubt most of the time is created through other people, because other people don't really want you to succeed, right? Other people might say they want you to succeed, but they want you to succeed just under them, right? And if you're going through problems, most people don't care about your problems. They're either glad it's not them or glad it's you. That's something I learned, and I just had to sit back and accept it. And I didn't hold it against people because it's human nature. However, I understood that when you have an idea, sometimes you got to keep it to yourself until you build the amount of people in your life who really do care about you and who really care about your ideas, and who will make sure that even if it adds a little bit of doubt in you, they won't say it, but they will tell you straight up what they're thinking. That's very special when you find those type of people in your life. Negative self-talk, how do you get rid of it? Self-awareness. This podcast is going to be a masterclass on how to get rid of self-talk, because if you recorded yourself and if you go on a trial of, how do I say this? You'll have moments of saying bad things about yourself for like 10 minutes straight. When that happens, record yourself. See how absolutely poor you talk to yourself. If you took yourself out of you, for example, if I was able to take you and put you into two versions of yourself, but they're the same version, and you start talking to yourself, how would that be? Right? How would you, if you talk to yourself the way that you usually do, like, oh, you're so ugly, or you're so fat, or you look fat today, you don't look good today, or this, that, and the other, this, would you want to spend another day with this person, or would you say, fuck you, get out of my life? You are so toxic. Some of you, it is that way. But you live with this person every single day. And not only do you live with this person, you talk to this person every day. And you let this person speak into your life every moment of your life. Realize that. That is self-awareness. Sit with me right here today and realize that you've been talking to yourself in this way for the past however long. And it's got to change. So, how do you do it? Journal. Journal where your self-talk is, and positive affirmations. So, we talked about those two things. Write down what those negative self-beliefs that you have, negative self-talk, exit out, and create a new belief and a new way of speaking to yourself. So now you catch yourself. This is a big thing that you guys will learn. And I'll do a whole podcast on this someday. If you say to yourself, I'm just not enough, as soon as you hear that anywhere in the sphere of your mind or even out loud, you say, no, Leo, that's not how we talk to ourselves. Try again. And you literally just try again. You say, I am enough. I'm becoming more and more every single day. That's it. I promise you. Stick with me. 2 months of that. And every time you say I'm not enough, it won't even be in your vocabulary anymore. That phrase won't even be something in your mind. And that is how you remove negative self-talk. Wow. But you'll continue to ask yourself this question, how do I get rid of it? How do I get rid of the self-talk? Exactly what I just said. I promise you. You journal it, become very self-aware, you create new affirmations around it, and you train yourself to be disciplined to kill that thought every time it comes up. Boom. Number 3 common pitfall is lack of consistency. So this is huge because you'll look up one day, you know what, I want to get rid of this self-talk, or you know what, I want to make more money, because we're tying everything back to money, we're tying everything back to entrepreneurship. I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to build a 7-figure business. But you talk to yourself in this way, and you have this self-doubt, and you let people get to you. You're not disciplined. And biggest of all, you lack consistency, which is the birthright, which is the absolute backbone of building a business, which is consistently taking care of something, just like you take care of a baby, just like you take care of yourself, right? How did you take care of these beautiful teeth of yours? You consistently brushed them. How did you build the muscles that you have? You consistently worked on them, right? All these things that were simple to do, it took consistency. So if you want to build a 7-figure business, don't even think for a minute that it's going to work until you have this consistency muscle built in. You might get lucky and build a business that hits $1 million in revenue one year, but you got to consistently do that year after year in order to have a 7-figure business that is doing very well. So with that understanding, you have to do these things. I'm giving you guys this information so you don't just listen to it and get entertained and get motivated by my voice and by what I'm saying. It's because if you truly want to build a business that serves you and your family and your legacy and the things that you really want to have, the cars, the houses, the charity, the zen, peaceful area of life that you want to live in, the dog, the taking care of the dog, making sure that that dog always has the best type of food, and when you go travel to Bali and Italy, like I traveled to this year, you'll have someone to take care of that dog, and always having these beautiful settings around you, beautiful friends, beautiful women, or whatever you're into. You know what I mean? If you really want that, and really, everybody does want that. Everybody does want that life, because who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want this life of peace, of fun, of joy, of adventure? But if you want that, you have to be consistent. You have to be positive in your mind. You have to get rid of this negative self-talk and negative self-doubt, and you have to be able to take care of yourself to be able to do that. Consistency is the key to success. It's doing things even though you don't feel like it. And I know that's day old information, but how do you do it? How in the world do you do something as hard as going to the gym at 5 a.m. or making 10 sales calls or doing the important things if you absolutely surely do not want to, and you just got heartbroken or you just lost your whatever, all these terrible things that happen in life naturally start to happen and you start to fight yourself and your mind starts going, what am I even doing this all for? Oh no. And you start to get depressed and you start to believe in this depression and sit down and start to say, man, this is just isn't for me. Is this thought, is this train of thinking serving you as a person? You ask yourself this, is this thought serving me? Those thoughts right there do not serve you, I promise you. So get your head out of your ass and start to really, boom, all of a sudden you start to see these clouds moving out of the way. Okay, quiet your mind and have the self-awareness of where you are right now and look at where you want to go. Imagine you put where you want to go, your dreams and your desires into a GPS, you get the exact directions there. But if you never know where you want to go and you never actually turn on the car and you never actually drive to the destination, you're never going to get there. Day old information. Consistency is the key to success, and I need you to understand that to the literal bones to your core. I need you to understand this. Because if you don't have the muscle of getting up every morning and going after it consistently day after day, I don't know anyone who has succeeded without that. I just don't. And if someone has, I'd love you to show me them. I'd love you to also show me their relationships. I'd love you to also show me their business, their finances. What do their finances really look like? Their investments, their house. Show me their family. Show me their friends. Show me all these things. And I would be absolutely blown away. But I promise you that the people who are genuinely successful in all 7 categories of life, that includes health, fitness, financial, spiritual, they understand that consistency is the key to success and discipline is the backbone to that consistency. Discipline, consistency, they go hand in hand. Consistency is doing things over and 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 over again. Even before the results, even after the results, it's still doing it. And discipline is the act of still doing it despite how you feel. Now, what's the elixir to all this? What's the third component? It's focus. It's being able to channel your energy effectively, because we only have so much energy in our energy tank every day, and you have to highlight that focus in the areas that will maximize and yield the best results for you. So what does that look like for you? Where should you focus? Let's talk about it in a business sense. Okay. In my life, I have had to learn focus, consistency, and discipline in different sectors, and I've taken those sectors and combined them with different aspects of my life. Where I first learned consistency was in the gym, because at school, I guess you learn consistency by being forced to go to school, but I honestly cheated my way throughout high school. I had a 4.5 and I got denied to every college. Don't know why. Maybe it's because I also tried using AI to use my my college applications, but that doesn't even matter. I don't even have to think about that, because I'm where I am today and my business is very successful and it's going to continue to be successful. But I'll tell you right now, I had to build my pure consistency and discipline in the gym by going every single morning, by looking at how small my shoulders were and saying, no girls are going to want me because of my shoulders. And of course, I had a girlfriend, but still, I had this thought of, you know, how am I ever going to get these models, these 10 out of 10s that I want to date and be with and build this beautiful business if I can't even get girls because these shoulders? So I said, okay, I'm going to go to the gym every single day. And I'm just being honest with where I was. So I did. And what happened was I consistently went to the gym every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I worked on my body. And I stayed disciplined. The days that I still didn't want to go to the gym, I still went. Boom. I started to really build this consistency muscle by building muscles. By month 3, I started to see my shoulder, boom, blow up, boom, boom, boom. I started to feel really good about myself. So I got the data set of, wow, I went to the gym, I stayed consistent, I was disciplined, and I got results. Huh, I wonder if I did that in business, what would happen? So I did. So in my life, I jumped into a different business. I jumped into a different sector, and it was business. I was building my first business, which was a real estate company. I stayed consistent every day. I made my calls. Every day I made sure to show up at the office. Every day I made sure to do things, even though I didn't want to. I had moments where I damn near cried because so many things were going on in my life, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I was quite young, but all these things were going on. I was just, these things. But I still showed up. I still made the calls. I did my first deal for $3,000, and that was the biggest deal I ever done at the time. I used that, and to this day, now I have over $700,000 equity in 10 different houses. And it's because of the consistency that I had built during that process, during that time. And it all translates into different things. My partner, Andrew Schlag, he's the one that taught me real estate. But when he first taught me real estate, when we first met, he was pretty fat. He was a big dude, in the face, in the stomach, and basically he had major consistency and discipline in business. He bought over 400 houses, and I said, Andrew, you are fat, and you're making a lot of money. Do you feel successful? And we had this conversation, and I'm a very blunt person, so I say things straight to people's faces. And he said, "You're right, Leo. Let's work. Let's train. If you can train me to lose this fat, um, lose this fat on my face and my body, then I will teach you how to do real estate." That was the agreement that we had. And I already had a one house at the time, and I was learning the process. So I said, okay, let's do it. So I started training him. But here's the way that I train him. I didn't go to the gym every day with him to show him how to do a bench press, how to do a squat, how to run, how to do cardio. What I did was I made him realize that he already has all the consistency. He already has the discipline. He already has the focus. He just has to channel that energy over to working out. Now that was a game changer. 3 months, and he lost 45 pounds. He made more money than he ever made. He bought more houses than he ever had because it all translates to each other. The same way that he channeled his energy from real estate to working out is the same energy that channeled working out back to real estate. It all goes back to each other. So here's the action steps. I'm going to wrap up this pod because I just realized I missed a sales call. It's all right, guys. I'm doing it. I'm doing this for you. Okay. I'm doing this for you. Action steps. By the way, I never miss calls, and I haven't done a podcast in a long time. So very interesting. Action step. Number one, start small and build momentum. Okay? You have to start small and build momentum. You don't climb up a mountain by taking big leaps and big leaps, because by the time you're on the third leap, you're falling down and you're going down that mountain. You're reassessing what you did wrong. You're going home and you're finding out what I just said to you. You gotta start small and you build momentum by taking steps. Boom, 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 boom. Small steps. Because if you tell yourself today, I'm gonna have a six pack in 2 months, and I'm also gonna make $1 million, and I'm also gonna have all the baddest girls in the world. After 2 months, you're gonna realize zero of that happened. You might progress a little bit, but because you don't have all the baddest girls in the world, because you don't have all these different other things, you're gonna say, "Wow, I'm a failure," and you're not gonna work for the next year because you're a failure. But if you tell yourself, in 2 years, I'm gonna have a seven-figure business, and I'm gonna have six figures invested into this, that, and the other. I'm going to have all the batters going, take this model ball, whatever. And what you're going to realize is that if you set it out for 2 years and you say, and you have the intellect to understand that in 2 months, you might be at 10K a month, or you might be at 5K a month, or you might tell yourself 2K a month. And you give yourself a bite-sized goal to hit. In 2 months, you hit it, and you're like, wow, you have the data set of actually getting there. So now you say, okay, in 4 months or in 2 more months, I'm going to be at 4K. And then you hit it. Now let's break it down a little bit more. You might just say, I'm going to make 5 sales calls a day, where you actually land the person on the phone. So what happens, and you do those 5 sales calls, 1 or 2 days, but then one day hits and it's like you only do two, and then you're like, oh, I'm a failure, and then you don't do sales calls for the next month, and nothing happens. But if you say, hey, I'm going to do 2 sales calls a day. Now, 2 sales calls is good because you can do it. You do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, something big happens. You got a big event to go to, and it's a networking event, blah, blah, blah. But you could still make sure to go to the bathroom and just hit those 2 sales calls, because that takes about 15, 20 minutes. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure to call that person back just because it's on my mind. But you get what I'm saying. You make sure to set small goals that you can hit consistently so you can build a consistency muscle. See it the same way as building muscle with your body. Number 2, discipline. How to build discipline. And an actual step is you build a structured morning routine. I don't have time to do that for you. I will do another podcast on it, but read The Miracle Morning. Number 3, focus. You have to time block. You have to time block your time. If it's not on your calendar, it's not going to happen. You have to become a slave to your schedule. So what do? Go to Google Calendar, start a Google account, which most of you have, and start time blocking everything that you do. Everything that you do. Okay? Now, this podcast has gone many different directions, and I wanted to go a lot deeper. I wanted to go a lot of different directions, and I think I gave you some really good game, and I have a lot more to share with you. But what I need from you is to let me know what you enjoyed about this podcast. Okay? So go to the comments down below and let me know a part of the podcast, and tag it too. Tag the timing. Let me know what your favorite part was, and I will expand on it for you. I'll do a bunch more of these podcasts, a bunch more of these long form videos, and I will give you all the information that you need and give you more actionable steps and hold you accountable to it. This is what I'm here for. I'm really here to help you level up and get to the next level. As always, my name is Leo Valentino. I am here to help you become the greatest version of yourself, and I'm just here to have fun and give really my expression of who I am, and I'm getting better and better at it every single day. And I hope that you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Take action on this. Watch this back 2, 3 times to find the action and take the notes. But again, comment down below what your favorite part was, and I will expand on it. I am very grateful for your time. Thank you so much. Much love.